Welcome to the College Noobcast, a podcast dedicated to informing you about what to expect as you begin your studies in higher education. My name's Corey.
I'm Joe.
And we'll be your hosts as we explore the campus,
Meet some students,
interview professors,
and chat about our own college experiences.
Now, please leave your phones on. Yes, food is allowed here. And don't worry, this won't be on the final.
This is the College Noobcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the College Noobcast.
Hello.
Oh, you're there? Hey, Joe.
Oh, hey, Corey.
This is a podcast dedicated to teaching you what college life is like. Hey, Joe. My name is Corey McCrae, and I'm joined here by my good buddy, Joe Gugino.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
I'm not Joe Gugino. I am Go Gugino.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyways, we're here today to talk about clubs. Clubs on campus, they're really important if, you want to meet people and have a good time while you're at college.
Yes.
Good stuff. So I set up an interview with my buddy, Matt Pantano, good friend of mine, and he's going to talk about clubs because he has been in so many clubs.
I'm surprised he hasn't fallen from stress.
Yeah, he hasn't, keeled over yet.
He's just somehow going. I mean, he shows fatigue, but, dang, he can go.
Yeah. Matt's ridiculous, but we're going to talk, about actually one of the topics we talk about is too many clubs.
Yep.
And how, as great as it is to be active in the college community and, be active and do stuff, there is a limit. Too much can happen, and Matt he talks about it a little bit in the interview. So we'll go right now to the interview, and Joe and I'll come back later and just talk about our own experiences for a little bit. So to the interview. Woo. Whoop. All right, hello. It's Corey here. I'm with Matt Pantano, the wonderful, the glorious Matt Pantano. The first interview of this Noobcast. How are you doing today, Matt?
I'm doing fantabulous.
That's
here,
good. That's
Corey.
good. So why don't you talk a little bit about yourself? Tell us what your major is, your year.
Yeah. Well, I'm Matt Pantano. I am a dual major in audio and video production, a sophomore, and I guess. Besides that, I just do audio, radio, video stuff all the time. So I'm moving all around. You'll probably see me in credits for a production dude for a TV show or radio show. And yeah, that's pretty much me. I've been behind the scenes pretty much my whole college career.
Well, that's cool. And since the episode is all about clubs, I figured I'd get a guy who's in so many clubs.
Yeah, for me, it's been a joyous experience to be a part of not only the radio station and the television station, but also take part in clubs throughout the semesters. I've dabbled. I've done Improv Society for a semester.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
I've done Film Society for a couple semesters. I did, what were some other clubs? I did Vocal Point for a semester. Had to leave it this semester, but I hope to be back in it next semester. And there's so many other clubs that I've helped with. I've helped with Spectrum a couple times, and I've helped with
what is Spectrum?
Oh, Spectrum. Spectrum is a club where they host events, pretty much entertainment events on campus. So the first week you come back, they schedule all the events that you can do around campus. For example, the game nights, the concerts, and they had me do a video for their latest concert event, which is coming up Fred Fest area. And it's Sammy Adams and a bunch of other artists. It's a big event for them. So and I created a video to help promote Sammy Adams in that event. So I worked a lot with them, especially with the concerts. Mm-hmm. And along with that, the MIC, the Music Industry Club. Mm-hmm. So,
and for those of you who are confused, Fred Fest is the big, it's not official festival that happens on Fredonia campus at the end of the year. It's like a celebration for students.
Yeah. To explain Fred Fest is to explain like Bigfoot. It's there. We just can't see it.
It's more like it's there, just the school doesn't recognize it. Air quotes, recognize it. So why don't we jump right into some of the important questions for our listeners. So question 1 would be, why is it important to be involved with clubs?
Well, the importance of joining a club is, for me, knowing people, to get along and to, collaborate with students and other faculty to either create something or to, just communicate with people.
Right.
The best thing I ever learned was, as much as you know about a certain thing, it's the people you know that help bring you to success.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was a huge thing for me, because as a student who has been pretty satisfactory, pretty average, the thing that always got me to excel was communicating with other people.
Yes.
And communicating and knowing what other people want.
Yeah.
I love to entertain people. So for the clubs, I choose clubs that communicate the most with the community.
Careful with the microphone.
I know. I'm just like shaking it up. But yes, I just like the fact that the more you join clubs, the more people you communicate with.
Yes.
That's pretty much it.
I know I used to feel about when making film. It was always me. I was always like, I had to direct it. I had to edit it. I had to cast everybody. I had to make sure, everything was in my control.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I came to college that I realized it's a we thing.
Oh.
It takes so many people to put together a kind of film, even in a radio show too. It takes a lot of people to run this station.
Oh, for anything. I am good friends with some people in like the business club, math clubs, the Spanish clubs, all these clubs, the fraternities, the sororities. In order to fit in with those clubs, you have to put in the effort and help those for them to help you. So it is so cool to get to know so many people around campus just from saying, hey, I can help you with this event, I can decorate. Or, hey, I know a little bit about Adobe Premiere, like the video editing system. I can help you edit something. I try to be as talented as possible, know as much as possible, so I can help others.
Right.
So.
And the way you get that talent is through other people.
Yeah.
You can't learn if someone's not teaching you.
Agreed. Oh, man.
And teachers aren't the only people on campus.
You don't know how many times like a student has come up to me, including you, to say like, "Oh, you got to do this instead of that," or like for an editing system, like, "Oh, you got to cut it here instead of there." And I'm just like, see, my teacher said the other way around, but I kind of like what you're coming from.
And you know what? It could be a really humbling experience, too, if an underclassman comes up to you and says, hey, I know how to do this. And sometimes you got to just say, all right, man, you definitely know more about this than I do. Teach me. Yeah,
I mean, it always happens that way, especially looking at the freshman class of video production majors and audio radio production majors. Mm-hmm. They have so much talent. They have so much talent and so much to offer that it kills me. But for me, my job isn't to teach them what they already know. It's for them to guide them through what you should know about the area. Mm-hmm. It's my I feel like it's my duty to kind of guide them through, like, oh, you know what? I recommend taking this class instead of that class, joining this club instead of that club. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, sometimes, and it always happens, it's great to be involved with clubs, but sometimes clubs just don't collaborate together enough to, make it enjoyable. And that's the, it's the sucky part of joining a club, because you just don't know what's going to happen. But once you just find that like niche or something like that, you're hooked. You are hooked to that club.
Oh yeah, and you can become like one of the elected board members of a club that you love so much, and it's fun. It's a lot of work, but it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, for me to say that next year I will be the news department director for the radio station, that's a huge thing for me because when
and congratulations, man. on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But for me, it was always humbling because I started with the radio station.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was like the first club I really remember truly joining and like just clinging to right away. With the radio club, it just I felt welcomed. And there was two people I have to mention, Kim Bright and Christy. Kim Bright's great.
Kim Bright's awesome.
And Christina Ventry.
Mm-hmm.
And Christina Ventry was the news director at the time I entered, which was exactly a year ago. And she kind of influenced me to say, hey, do you want to be my assistant? And she was the news director. So at that point, so I'm like, yeah, sure. What do you do? And she would tell me these things, and I'd be like, oh, so you do sports too? And I'm a huge baseball fan. And she would tell me like, yeah, we don't broadcast baseball right yet, but in the future we hope to. And I'm coming in now with most of the sports stuff kind of set up for me, so I can honestly next year take all that I've learned from Christina and Chris, who was the news director this year, Chris Hoyt, and just use it. Mm-hmm. So I plan on doing a lot more with sporting events, especially getting baseball and softball broadcasting, lacrosse and soccer broadcasted, stuff like that, and also get involved with what you're trying to do is to promote our clubs.
Yeah.
The main thing is to promote our clubs.
Yeah,
that's right. I'm kind of like advertising Corey's little point here. I love it. I love it.
And you know what's great is this isn't going just to Fredonia campus. This is going to any incoming college student anywhere.
What?
So, wow.
No way. It's like we're promoting Fredonia College.
Maybe a little bit. I don't know.
Come to Fredonia.
But see, something I've kept telling the audience is that you can't. You gotta let the school decide if you want to go there. It's one of those. If you feel the campus isn't right, don't waste your time.
Exactly. It's I can tell you how much I could rave about a college. I could say, this is the best. I get to do this and that and blah blah blah. But if one person comes in and just doesn't feel the same way about it, I would honestly tell them straight right up front. Well, I mean, do you feel like you could have a future with this college? It's almost like having a relationship. Do you have a future with this girl? Like, oh my God. So I asked him or her that, and they would either say, well, I'll give it another try, or it's just not for me. And that always happens. I knew for me, the first college I checked out was Columbia College Chicago, right downtown, north side. I went there in the summer to visit it, and it was it was amazing. It was amazing. I just felt like, everything was there for me because it was a specialized college for TV, radio, stuff that I wanted to do for the longest time. So I'm just like, this is perfect. But after going back there again, I just felt like maybe for me, personally, I gotta kind of build myself up to that position. Maybe do that for graduate school and get my undergraduate degree at a place where you get an all-around education. And that's what Fredonia is for me. Obviously it's a liberal arts school.
Yeah.
So you get that education from different areas besides audio and video.
Then it's just a nice-looking campus, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, that too. It's actually, you know what? It's beautiful.
Yeah, for the rain and the weather we get, you can overlook it.
It's pretty cool. I will say, I always heard that they built it so it can have a flow of wind through it. And for the area, I mean, I appreciate the thought, but maybe not.
Yeah, it's
so much flow of wind.
It's so windy here.
Yeah.
We could go on. We're deviating a little bit from the topic of clubs.
Yeah, I know. It's just
so
whatever.
This happens once in a while when Matt and I get together.
It's just now we're gonna talk about puppies now,
all right,
guys.
So it's like together we have ADHD.
Squirrel. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways. What were we talking about? No, I'm joking.
Oh man, I don't even know.
Okay, so a good question for any incoming college students is how the heck do I get involved in these clubs?
Well, I'll tell you, Corey.
Oh, thank you.
The way you get involved in the clubs is just talk to people. Again,
Yeah.
you got to communicate with people. There are 2 club fairs that happen in the beginning of the fall semester and the spring semester.
At Fredonia, at least.
Yeah, at Fredonia. And I assume that's like that for
Yeah, I
most
assume every college
colleges.
has some sort of club fair.
Like even in Monsters University, if you've ever seen that movie, it's literally the first thing you see is like, all these people like, hey, I'm RA, Jay, come visit this club, blah blah blah, and they're very friendly and like creepily friendly, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So
Get past the creepy friendliness.
So like, hey, yeah, you gotta join this. It's just like, oh my god. But don't feel intimidated by clubs. They understand that being a part of the radio club for so long and now going to these fairs, it's kind of fun for me to be like, hey, you should join the radio club.
Oh,
and
yeah.
If they say no, it's just like, all right, man. Well, you know what? Check out this club, and see which one works for you. Or if you're into science, there's a science section over here. And for me, when I entered my first fall semester, the thing that jumped out at me immediately was that the camera crew at the TV station was just following people around. I'm just like, man, I got to get on camera. And that literally got me to say, I want to join the TV station. Unfortunately, I didn't join it that semester, but a couple semesters later, I got to finally be involved with some of the TV shows and stuff like that. But again, you gotta go and look.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna, most of the time, it's not gonna come and just like grab you.
Mm-hmm.
You literally have to look at flyers, any promotions, anything like that. And if you're interested in it, just give them a call or email them.
Yeah.
And they're just very helpful.
And it's not, I think one important thing to say is it's not like a binding contract when you sign down your name. It's at first, clubs aren't a solid commitment. You can participate, you can half participate just to test the waters. No one will be angry at you. No one should be angry at you if you don't want to participate in the club like everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. I have been fortunate that most of the clubs that I've joined and have left have all been supportive in my decision to leave the club.
Because you have a lot of work to do. People, being at college, we get homework, we get so much back work backed up. It's just crazy sometimes.
Even for next year, as an e-board member, I know for a fact I won't be able to do as many clubs as I have done in the past because I got to focus most of my work on radio.
Mm-hmm. And to reiterate, e-board is like elected board members. Like, you have the president, the business manager.
Yes, the e-board, yes, exactly. What he said. So for the radio station, the news director's got, control of the news. So
wow.
And it's like the same thing for, I know the Leader, which is our newspaper, does that. The television station.
Yeah, WNYF, Western New York. I don't know. Some WNYF.
Western New York, Fredonia?
Probably, something like that.
Something like that.
I just know the acronym.
Yeah.
WNYF. Yeah, we have so many board members, too.
Yeah, exactly. And these board members have assistants. You can be in ops position, which is pretty much, just helping out whatever department you're in. And, so, like, each club does have an e-board system. So, I know I think every club
every club
has
an
e-board.
to have one.
I was going to say.
At least on Fredonia campus.
At least on Fredonia campus. Again, if you see another college and you're just like, oh, well, that's not true because this college, well, blah. For us, Fredonia is like this. Come to Fredonia and check it out. But yeah, so I guess that's all I got for being involved. Again, to reiterate, just go out and look for something that appeals to you.
Yeah, just talk to people, meet people.
Yep, and try it out.
And meet upperclassmen. They know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned this a little while ago. We just touched on it barely.
Yeah.
But they can be like mentors for you. They can teach you what college life is like. They can introduce you to fun clubs.
Yep. That's pretty much what Christina did for me. Chris did for me. Holly Machuga. Jeez.
All beautiful
Tommy
people.
Pizzulo.
Tommy, I remember Tommy.
Tommy Pizzulo. God, there's a few others, but yeah, those are just a few names. Again, you'll remember this for life because you'll go back to that situation. I feel in like 20 years from now and be like, well, remember that time when he did this, to his video, and you're just like, maybe I should do that. And you'll just look back on those times and be like, man, I would not be here if it wasn't for the people that I met.
And I can think
when I was
about that
18.
now for high school even.
Oh yeah.
I could think like,
Yeah.
man, if I hadn't taken that photo class that one year, I may not have ever, learned to love the camera the way I do now.
Yeah.
I might totally, because I knew I was going to be a filmmaker since middle school, but I took
Yeah.
a photo class in high school,
Yep.
and I had a whole new perspective on like composing the frame and making
Yes.
things look beautiful that I had never thought of in video.
Yes. The important part is like of everything is extracurricular activities are just good.
Oh,
period.
yeah.
There's not one club or sports team or whatever intramural sport. It doesn't matter. Like, these are so good for college kids, high school kids, grammar school kids. Like, they're so, because it gets you away from academics just a little bit so you can have some fun.
Yeah.
Enjoy what you're doing, but learn something while doing it.
Yeah.
And you don't even realize you're learning something while doing it because you're having so much fun.
It's like a fun learning. I don't know.
It's like,
Like when a teacher tries to make the classroom fun?
oh boy.
It's exactly the opposite of that. It's just actually fun.
I've had experiences like that. Okay, to all those people who are joining Fredonia, who will be joining Fredonia or are planning on joining Fredonia, understand that not all teachers are fun.
That's true for any college, man.
For any college, especially with some here that I've experienced and will probably have to experience in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, you gotta just plow through it.
Well, yeah, it's the chemistry between you and the teacher, really.
Yeah.
Sometimes, anywhere you go, you're gonna meet someone you're gonna butt heads with.
Yeah, exactly. Just butt heads.
Just bang.
Oh, God.
Ouch.
Corey hit me.
Sorry.
Corey.
Shouldn't have done that.
Anyway.
All right. So we kind of touched on this earlier, but how much commitment is there to a club?
It all depends on what your position is.
Mm.
Commitment for me, again, when I joined the radio station or the television station, was just pretty much, hey, you get an email one day, and you say, it says like, oh, we need a couple people to shoot this day. Is anyone free? And I would look at it and be like, yeah, sure, why not?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd come down, I'd do the thing, and then they would ask like, oh, can you do next week? And sometimes I would have to say no. And at that point, it's okay, because you're just getting to know it. You're starting to learn it.
Yeah.
As you become an ops position for a group or club, even a team in some ways, if like, you gotta understand that some, a little more involvement is needed.
Right.
A little more commitment is needed from you because, the leader expects you to do a certain thing, and if you don't do it, well, it's almost like learning like an internship or job, learning how to kind of work with people and get deadlines going and stuff like that. But again, if you're not interested in it, you don't have to be committed. One day you could just say, you know what, this ops position is just not for me, or this e-board position is just not for me.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say by the end of the semester, I can't, I gotta drop it. And
Right.
again, I not seen a club that is not supportive with the idea.
Yeah. It's perfectly okay
Yeah.
if it's too much for you.
It's like you're going up the like hill of like the top. Okay, there's like a triangle, and at the top of the hill is like a job. What college does is just pretty much prepares you for when you get to that job, and then you got to understand like, well, you have to have a little more commitment.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just a little stepping stone for you.
Right.
you don't have to exactly be committed. You find something that appeals to you. Understand, that's another thing. College does not have to be a 4-year thing. I know for a fact for me, I would probably have to stay an extra year just because I want to learn a little bit more about, sound design or something like that. And I could join a club that would help me with sound design and then go out in the working world and gain all this knowledge from that. And just it's just fun. I don't know.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that little extra thing actually might land you a job.
Exactly.
Because if you're in radio, radio doesn't always require sound design.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you might be working back filing or something like that.
Yep.
But if someone's like, hey, I got this post-production show. I need some Foley. I need some, sound made post-production.
Yes.
Does anyone know how to do that? And if you're the guy that knows how to do that,
then it's perfect.
Bam, slap, bam, write your name on that.
Yes.
Write your name on that contract.
Yeah, exactly. So in a way, as I said before, as much talent as you have, it's all about the people you know, and sometimes you get lucky.
So when you're at your level of position on an e-board, how much commitment do you have now that you're expecting to become an e-board member next semester, an elected board position on news?
Yes. Well, for an e-board position, you're pretty much one of the heads.
Yeah, because now you're helping to run the club.
Exactly. So commitment at that point is like you have a mini internship or a job.
Yeah.
You don't get paid, but the stuff that I mean, it's college.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get paid for the position, but again, if you like it that much, if you like the position so much, you're getting paid by what you produce.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just feel proud for I know for example, my good friend and news director right now, Christopher Hoyt, and his buddy John Cullen sent in a recording of a hockey game, sent it into IBS, and got an award for it.
Oh, wow.
They got an award for best play-by-play for a sporting event. And it was just they didn't have to do this. It wasn't oh, you know what, I want to do this, but is there money involved? No, they want to do this because it's just fun for them.
Mm-hmm.
And the recognition they get afterwards is just enough. I mean, that's like $1 million for me. Honestly, that's the coolest thing ever, to get recognized like that.
That's a very cool way of putting it. Yeah. I never thought of it that way, honestly. Yeah. That, this elected board position, you're not looking to get paid. Nope. You're looking to just learn, and that recognition you get from it is what really pays off.
Well, it's funny you mentioned, as an e-board position, I have a couple jobs right now, and I know for a fact I'm going to have to quit some of those jobs for this e-board position. I'm going to have to give up money for no money. And you may think of that oh, that's terrible.
You're whacked out,
why
man.
are you
You're
doing
bonkers.
That? Yeah, you must be out of your mind. Well, again, if you love something this much, you want to put as much effort into it so that you can create a news department that is not only one of the greatest in Western New York, but hopefully in New York State in general. And you hope to get recognition for that. And if you don't, try harder. You keep going. You can't stop.
Maybe even in the world.
Yeah, even in the world. Yes, Matt Pantano, greatest news department in the world.
Matt Pantano, you'll see his name on a billboard one day.
Yeah. Oh man, that's gonna be something. I'll be next to, I don't know, Johnny Depp and Hugh Glass.
Oh, I hope, man. I hope one day you're up there next to Johnny Depp.
you just Hugh Glass. Did I say Hugh Glass? I meant Ida Glass. Okay, for those of you who don't know Hugh Glass, that's The Revenant. If you don't know The Revenant, get a book. Or
Leonardo da Vinci fights a bear.
Was it Da Vinci?
No, it was not Da Vinci.
Are you sure? I felt like it was Da Vinci. I felt like it was Da Vinci.
That was a really bad joke.
Oh man, that's okay.
Leo DiCaprio fights a bear.
Leo. Yeah.
Oh man, finally won that Oscar too. So
yeah. Good for him.
Good
He
for
probably
him.
joined the news department, back in his day.
I'm just wondering why you, a radio guy, would be next to Johnny Depp.
Just, because why not? You like, screw you, Corey. I want my dream. I want my dream to come true.
Okay, I'll let you have your dream, man.
Oh, that's right.
We're getting way off topic
I'm
now.
a little upset now. Oh man, I'm
It's
sorry,
coming
Corey.
back. Our collective ADD.
Oh God, it's too much for me. Oh my God, my dad has ADD, so I know for a fact I have it. Like every day, it's just like a struggle with me trying to go like, oh, you got to do this, but I want to do this. Oh wait, there's a piece of paper flying away. I gotta catch it, kind of deal. Like
So let's move on to the next question.
no, I don't want to.
Focus.
I'm too deep in focus with my mind. What is life? Anyway, go ahead.
So this is a man definitely talking from experience. How many clubs is too many?
I never.
Because I know the freshmen coming in, I know I was a guy who I signed my name on pretty much everything. I was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, but I ended up just like not going to a whole bunch of them.
It has to do with experience. So, and like you said, I've had experience with doing a lot of clubs.
Oh, yeah.
So, I guess when I first went in and did that, club fair at the beginning of the semester, I was the same way. I put my name on everything. But after a while, and you'll find this out like mid-semester, that the stress that you put on yourself from doing so many clubs, it gets to you. For me, too many clubs was, God, I was doing 7 clubs in one semester.
Wow.
That was a little too much. I remember, like, punching myself in the face one day, just like, what am I doing with myself? Because I have to balance the clubs, the school, like you're paying for the school, and friendships, like, your social status. As much as you get social statuses and stuff like that from clubs, you have friends that are not a part of those clubs and you still want to hang out with. For example, you may not have been a part of Vocal Point, but for me, Vocal Point people are just not my only friends. I have so many other friends out there. So it's just, for me, it was 7. I dropped it down to 4. It was a little
That
better.
seems, very manageable.
Manageable 4. But again, when you get more committed with a particular club, you may have to drop it down to just 1, maybe 2. It all depends on what you feel as a student. I cannot, you could be a guy to balance 10 clubs, 21 credits, and be the captain of the baseball team or the soccer team, and you just like and you're just doing everything.
Yeah,
and you can balance that.
Let's take a look at Kyle.
Yeah, oh God, I know it.
He does so many clubs.
Yeah, and he can balance that. So it all depends on what you. First of all, how organized you are. For me, again, with our ADD problem, my organization skills, are a little below average. But through the clubs that I've been doing, I've actually been organizing myself a lot more because of how many clubs I've done in the past. So it helps you out, but yeah, it all depends on you. It all depends on what your skills are.
Right, and I feel like if it starts, like you mentioned the friend thing, I feel like if it starts, if it starts creeping in and if it starts becoming a thing where you can't function properly, as in you're having difficulty with your classes, you're having trouble keeping your friendships, you're having trouble just, seeing your friends that you want to see. I feel like when it starts creeping into your social life and you're becoming uncomfortable.
I totally agree.
It's kind of like a subjective thing. You can't really place a number on how many.
Exactly. You just got to try it for yourself. And even with family, boy, I can't tell you how many times I had to convince my family, like, oh, I'm doing a summer ops position next year. I will not be living with you guys, so I'm going to be living on campus again. It'll be like, well, how about the family trip we're doing and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, I'm sorry. I have other obligations. I mean, I believe you got to put yourself first in anything that you do. And sometimes that's tough because you don't want to disappoint anybody. But again, do not put yourself first so much that eventually you just want to like blow up because you put so much pressure on yourself. Just like you said, you cannot say to yourself, I'm going to do 10 clubs. You got to honestly think about it. I got to do 10 clubs. Let's see what my responsibilities are. So that's all I got.
It was very informative, Matt. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll go to the next question. And, this becomes, what club is your favorite club?
What's my favorite club?
Why don't you talk about you?
Oh
Why don't you talk
God.
about you and your favorite?
Oh, boy. I hate talking about myself. Next question.
Put yourself first, man.
Touche, man. Touche.
I gotcha.
Well, I'm pretty particular, being an audio-video guy. Radio has been my life for a while. So, and being part of the e-board, I have to say radio. It got me to really connect with a lot of people in the area and connect with a lot of people that are outside the area, like in Long Island, New York City. And I even got to connect with some people from like Maryland and Virginia who have helped me out and are graduates of SUNY Fredonia and have come back and have given conferences. And, I ask questions about those conferences and stuff like that. So it's just, radio has done so much for me. I want to do sound design, which incorporates not only radio skills, but also skills in video. That's why I'm doing both majors. And I hope in the future, I can come back to the radio club and the TV club. I can honestly say with the TV club, it's pretty half and half for me. I'll come back and I'll be welcomed like one of you guys. I don't want to be welcomed as like, oh my God, it's like Matt Pantano, he's worked on this and that or blah blah blah, and I don't even know if that's gonna happen.
The glorious, wondrous Matt Pantano.
Because I see so many people come in. I see so many people who've done so much success in SUNY Fredonia, like outside of SUNY Fredonia when they graduated, and it's just like, I look at them, I'm like, oh my God, you worked on this and that, and how was it, and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes they just need to settle down and be like, understand, I was one of you.
Yeah.
Before this. I am not some sort of, radio god. I'm a person. I'm a person, and my name is Steve. No. I'm a person that had the same ups and downs as you. And you're gonna understand that when you come back to this club, you're gonna expect to be treated the way you were in the past when you first entered it.
And I hope everyone gets that kind of experience, that they're so connected with a club that they get the chance to come back. And maybe be remembered.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, as much as it would be great to have fame, the greatest thing for me is, do something that, is significant, even if you're just like a DJ at a local radio station and it's just like, hey, that voice, I know that voice. Oh, that's Matt Pantano. He was a graduate back in the day. Like, oh my God, we should have him in and talk to students and stuff like that. Like, I want to stay connected with Fredonia as much as possible, even if I do go out to California, New York City, blah. I want to come back and experience the same thing I have, for right now it's 2 years, but, in the future it'll probably be 4 or 5 years in Fredonia. I want to come back and, have that same experience. So that's just me. I don't know.
So would you have any tips for any incoming freshmen? Either, club-wise or just in general, just any kind of tip.
tips. Take my advice. Pull down your pants and slide on the ice. That was my dad. He always said that. He goes, son, here's my advice. Pull down your pants and slide on the ice. I thought it was a really funny line. I don't even know where he got it from. That's the first thing, guys. Just want to mention that. We do have an ice rink, so you could do that.
Possibly.
If you wanted to.
He who had no
pants must slide on ice. So, but no, one of my favorite tips I got from the beginning of the semester is be yourself. I can't express that enough.
Right. It's an age-old tip, but you really can't you can't underestimate that, considering it's such an age-old tip.
Yeah.
It's so worldwide. It's world-renowned. It's like you hear it everywhere, and for a reason.
Exactly. It's so stupid for somebody to be like, well, I want to be like this dude, so I'm going to try to do everything I can to, emulate him. And it's just like, yes, that's good. If you want to be, if you're a theater major and you're in acting and you say, I want to be the next Brad Pitt, and you go, okay, that's great. But understand that you have qualities that are different from Brad Pitt, and as much as you can work on trying to get those qualities as those types of actors, you have a unique style to yourself.
Yes.
So, and even Brad Pitt said the same. I use actors because they've said it in so many interviews in the past that I've heard, because I'm such a big movie guy. I always like to listen to actors I've always admired and just wanted to be. And two of them, Brad Pitt, and then Jack Nicholson mentioned it himself. He said, when I started back in like the 50s, the greatest thing I ever learned from Humphrey Bogart was, as much as you can be me, you're not me.
Right.
And as like, as kind of mean as that sounds, it's a good life lesson. As much as you want to be me, you can't be me. Be yourself. So
do what makes you feel comfortable. Do what makes you feel you.
Exactly. So that's the greatest tip I could give, honestly. And join the radio and television station if you come to Fredonia. That's the other tip, and that's it. That's all I got.
All right.
I don't know, guys, but
so thanks, Matt Pantano, for letting me interview you for the College Noobcast.
Oh, stop it, Corey. I want to thank Corey for doing this, promoting Fredonia like this. Go Blue Devils, guys.
The goal here is not to just promote Fredonia. It's to promote just what college life is like for anyone who's coming to college.
But especially Blue Devils in Fredonia. But yes, he said it. Do what you want to do. Be yourself. Choose what makes you feel comfortable. And that is Fredonia, that's awesome. If it isn't, just have the greatest college experience you can. So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Matt Pantano. This was a great interview. I definitely hope we can do another one of these in the future.
Really?
Yeah.
I literally live in a hole, so like in a box. So you can call me anytime. I usually don't do this often. Anyway, thank you so much, Corey.
You're welcome. We're gonna go back to Joe and I talking about what we have to say. So thank you, Matt.
Yeah, no problem, Corey.
Wow, very good interview, I'd say. Matt is a fellow who knows a lot about what he's talking about, when he knows a lot about what he's talking about.
He likes talking about things he likes to talk about.
Yep. That's kind of meta. Anyways, so we talked about a lot in that interview. Matt and I discussed a lot of things. We had a lot of laughs. It was a good time. But I think we should talk about, our own experiences in clubs. Preferably, I guess, yours, because I kind of talked about my own experiences with clubs. But, we haven't gotten Joe's side of it.
My side.
So I figure, did you have an issue with too many clubs at one point?
I think that depends on what kind of what person you are and what you want out of a club. If you want a dedicated group of friends, I'm kind of I subscribe to the idea of having a dedicated group of friends, but I like having groups of friends.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and clubs are great for that because if you just want like a group of friends that has nothing to do with like your class or your dorms or whatever, you just want like a group of people you can go to just to talk about things that you like talking about in that club. Clubs are great, but if you do too many of them, like honestly, I think too many is, you can't put a number on it. Too many is like how much you feel you can handle because there's a guy we know, Kyle, who's a part of like everything.
Oh my gosh. Kyle is...
I almost think you should have gotten him to interview.
I was talking to Kyle about it, and Kyle and I did set up...
Not to knock Matt Pantano.
Yeah, no. Kyle and I were talking about it, and I was originally going to interview Kyle, but Matt had more of a... I don't know. Matt was more present, I guess. You know, Matt and I have been friends for a while. Kyle and I only know each other a little bit. Yeah. So I figured Matt Pantano was another great choice for talking about, you know, clubs on campus.
Because he's also very active. But like Kyle, Kyle is on SA. He is like e-board of like 4.
An SA for college here is student association. They pretty much just give the money to every other
club.
Every other club they support.
And he's on e-board for like 4.
Oh my gosh, he's business manager for the TV station. He is, I think, what do they call it? A student? I don't know. He runs Twitter accounts for a lot of the other stations.
Like PR.
PR. He does PR work. I couldn't tell you what else he does, but it's just ridiculous.
So yeah, like,
but he can handle that work.
He can handle that. So like, honestly, I feel like for him there isn't enough that he can do.
Yeah.
But for someone like me, during the semester, I'm really only active in like 3 clubs at most, which is not something to slouch at. Like some people don't even partake in any. But you know, they probably have other things going on, like class, or they need a specific amount of alone time, or a fraternity, sorority. They feel like their friends that they have are fine, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's one of those, I think, when it starts to impede on your life.
It definitely, yeah.
That's when it becomes a problem. When you're like, oh gosh, you know, I'm not getting enough sleep. You're probably in too many clubs.
I would say so, because you need homework time.
So yeah. But moving on, Joe, what's your favorite club?
Oh, God.
Do you have one? Why don't you talk about your favorites with an S?
Okay. I think my favorite club I actively attend currently right now is Anime Club, because that's where a lot of my friends that I've made this semester come from.
Ohayou gozaimasu.
Ohayou gozaimasu!
Yeah, I definitely like going to Anime Club too. It's a nice community of people. Like everyone there is friends with each other pretty much. There's really no sourness whenever I go watch it. It's all a bunch of people who like watching anime together.
If you stick after the meeting and like you get food with everyone, you're friends with them.
Oh yeah.
You're friends with the e-board, all of them.
Oh, it's great. They're a great group of people.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun, and you know, it's super lax there. There is like, if there is, you know, pressure, then I don't know what you're doing. Caring too much about random night.
But yeah, I think just baseline is really just attend a lot of clubs, find which ones you like.
Yeah, because if you were to ask me last year, I probably would have said WNYF.
Right.
Our TV station.
Because you were really big with the TV station.
Yeah. And I love the TV station. It's just that, this semester got busy.
Yeah. And then it happens. You know, clubs won't... Matt and I talked about this too. Clubs won't knock you for not showing up.
Because they were all in your position at one point.
Yeah. School comes first. I think there's a lot of this is just kind of recycled stuff that Matt and I talked about. But I think it's important to mention again, you know, school comes first. Clubs come second, really. Or wherever down the line. I don't know.
Exactly.
Friends, family.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
Video games should always come out on top.
Mm-hmm. But I think wrapping up right now, we should probably mention that, you know, just you got to feel your way through it. No college is the same.
Yeah, no.
So meet a group of people you like, kind of work with them. You'll find your own place in club life.
It's always easier to find like a comfortable group of people in a club that you like than it is to just ask around, hey, what kind of graphics card do you have in your computer when you're in like class trying to do math stuff, instead of just going to like the video games club.
It's a really niche group of people, Joe.
Hey man, PC gaming is on the rise.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us in the College Noobcast, a podcast dedicated to teaching you about the college experience and whatnot. So we'll see you all in the next episode, and have a good one.
Have a good one.